So Glenn, talk us through, first of all, what the heck happened? Because there's a lot of people that maybe understand, they could tell you, oh, FTX this, Sam Bankman-Fried that, Binance this, but what actually happened?
So let me give you a timeline of events, or let me just kind of give you an overview of what happened.
Yeah.
A lot of this fallout started to happen back when Three Arrows Capital, when Celsius, when a lot of these other like borrowing lending platforms started going through the turmoil that they went through. The problem is, I'm going to give you like a 30,000 foot view of this. The problem is when you run crypto, like you run the traditional financial world, it's eventually going to die the same death. The problem is the traditional financial world has way more money than we have here in crypto. Now, I know a lot of people think that, you know, the market cap of crypto is big and it's huge, but when you look at what the legacy institutions have, that whole entire market cap, it dwarfs ours, and rightfully so. It's been around longer, more people playing it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
When you started having all of this cross collateralization and all these companies started getting into trouble because it turned out that no one was really holding the bag. No one had the values that they allegedly, supposedly had. And now that chicken has come home to roost with FTX. FTX, a lot of people thought was going to be the saving grace with Voyager. Turns out that's not the case because of the situation that happened yesterday. Sam Bankman-Fried is not the crypto darling he was 36 hours ago. And the problem with that is because a lot of the same principles that got Three Arrows Capital into trouble, Celsius into trouble, is the same situation that Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX is having. Let me explain. When Sam Bankman-Fried went to a lot of these, call them LP partners, right? The people who basically give crypto platforms money, he gave them FTX token. Here's the issue with that. They created FTX token and they use FTX token as collateralization in terms of receiving money. Now, the problem is, whether you want to say it's on-chain metrics, CZ, Binance's business acumen shine through, and he saw something that nobody else did. And he said, you know what, I think these guys have overextended. I think they're a bit overcommitted, and I definitely know that they're over-leveraged. I think he probably had a dinner with somebody. They get to talking. If you run a crypto exchange, you know where to look. If you run a crypto exchange, it's hard to hide the skeletons in the closet because everybody's playing with the same sacred cows. The problem is CZ Binance gets on Twitter. He just opens his mouth. He says, look, I think you guys are running a 3-card Monty, and I'm letting the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
I'm talking to a lot of people behind the scenes. You guys had FTX as a collateralization token. We don't think you hold the reserves that you hold. And when CZ Binance tweets, a lot of people start to take notice. Well, enough people try to pull their crypto out of FTX at the same time, and they're noticing, like, I can't really get my crypto out. What's going on? It becomes a bank run, right? 2% of people do that. It's a problem. 15, 20% of an exchange's traffic does that. At worst, most exchanges will shut down, but at least they have the reserve there. When FTX did this and people couldn't get their money out, it was a huge domino effect. Cascading the problem, FTX is now definitely insolvent. The rumors started to circle the drain. It turned out it was true. People are now looking at this like, okay, well, if I can't get my money out, what does this mean? Is Alameda Capital safe? Is Alameda Research safe? Are the things that Alameda Research invested in safe? No, because the whole entire thing was propped up by a token that they created. It's the same thing that Do Kwon had done with his, I forget the gentleman's name, but it's basically like his partner in Terra Luna. They created $1 billion worth of a token, and they were trying to pledge that as collateral before Terra Luna. The whole entire bottom fell out of Terra Luna. So the problem is you got a lot of guys who run crypto exchanges using the same rules that we use in traditional finance. The problem is we're playing with a lot smaller money, so the damage and the fallout is going to be greater.
Wow.
You and I were talking about this earlier today. Well, where's the hemorrhaging at? How far does the exposure go? I think it goes all the way down to everything that Alameda Capital Research is invested in. Because again, keep in mind, Alameda would have fell apart months ago when Three Arrows and when Celsius did, but the only thing that was propping them up was the value of FTT token.
Yeah.
So now that we know FTT is a farce right now, well, where does that leave a lot of those guys? We know that Solana is going to have like a 3 billion or so unlocked tomorrow. Well, guess who is one of the biggest stakeholders in Solana? FTX.
Yeah.
So the problem really ensues here, guys. Well, where does the hemorrhaging stop? How big is the fallout? Well, if I'm a lender and I gave FTX money, right? Because they traded FTX token for USDC, Bitcoin, and Ethereum.
Yeah.
I gave them those crypto assets in good faith. I got this FTT. They're going to pay the loan. Everything's going to be fine. Now I'm holding a bag that's essentially worth nothing. So now everything that I have in my coffers, I have to sell because now I have to pay my liquidity partners. It's all this cross collateralization that's going on. It's like we haven't learned anything from the traditional financial sector. So now if I have to sell what's in my coffers to make good so I can pay liquidity partners or I can meet overhead, essentially what that's going to do is going to continuously drive the market down further. On my chart, I had 17K. This is a bit of extenuating circumstances. And if people continue to sell off because they have to be able to meet their financial obligations, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 10 sub 10.